I am Patrick. Let's learn about projectile motion. Well, we are in a garden right now, and there's my friend chasing a football. Let's learn from her about that. Projectile motion means the motion in 2D. By the term 2D, I mean the motion in x direction as well as the y direction. As you can see, my friend is hitting the ball in a parabolic path. So we can conclude that the projectile motion always happens in a parabolic path, being like a water fountain. Let's take an account on graph for a projectile motion. This is a ground to ground projectile motion where a football is being passed from one point to the other point. Remember that there are two types of motion over here, rotational and projectile. We're going to learn about rotational motion later. The ball is being rotated. Over here, u is the initial velocity, u cos theta and u sin theta are the horizontal and vertical components respectively. There are two components, as I already said, x and y. We're going to talk about in detail about x and y direction. Acceleration for x direction is zero because there is no force acting towards x direction, supporting it or opposing it. For y direction, remember the velocity at initial point is equal to the velocity at the final point for only y direction, not the x, because the velocity is going to be constant for x direction. And acceleration for y direction is negative g. The reason behind negative g, I'm going to tell about that in upcoming videos. Next, the velocity from the initial point for y direction is gonna first decrease, and at the maximum height the velocity is gonna be zero, and gradually it increases by the time as it comes to the ground because of the acceleration negative g. The green one is the maximum height. We need to remember three things when talking about projectile motion, and that's time of flight, maximum height, and the range. Let's talk about it. The height is actually displacement, and the displacement is the shortest path covered by the particle. But over here, the particle is coming to its original position again, so the displacement for x direction is gonna be zero. But we can calculate displacement for the y direction, which we calculated as u square sine square theta by 2g by the concept called motion under gravity, where we had three equation of motions, where we chose third equation. V square equals to u square, oh no, v minus u square equals to 2as. Time of flight for motion under gravity and projectile motion is kind of similar. For time of flight for motion under gravity, it was 2u by g. But over here, we are having 2u sine theta by g, where we are taking the y component. The time taken to go from initial point to the maximum height, and it is u by g. From maximum height to the final point, we are having u by g. We just started u by g plus u by g, where we got 2u by g, 2u sine theta by g. Horizontal range is actually the distance covered the projectile in the x direction. We can calculate horizontal range by multiplying the velocity of x direction into time, which is u cos theta into u sin theta by g, where we are getting u square sin 2 theta by g. Relation between the maximum height and the range is tan theta divided by r equals to 4h. As the particle moves in the parabolic path, its velocities changes with time. The vertical velocity changes, especially, not the horizontal one. So what's gonna be the angle between them? Angle between them is gonna be tan inverse Vy by Vx. The thing that we need to remember is the projectile motion is having a constant acceleration for the y-axis. So we can find velocity and displacement after t seconds too, where we are going to use the equation of motion, which are applicable for constant acceleration. But constant acceleration is also happening in projectile motion. That's why we are using them. Now there are a few points to remember or note it down for the conveniency and also for the exams that we are going to give. The range is same for two different angles of projections. If the initial velocities of their projections is going to be same, imagine like the u is being same and the range is also being same, but the angle of projections are different. One is 60 and other one is 30 degrees. But over here, the maximum height of the both the projections is going to be different. Absolutely, one is going to be h1 and other going to be h2. But what's the relation between h1, h2, and r? Yeah, so r is going to be like r equals to 4 under root h1 into h2, the height of the first projection and the height of the second projection. Next, we're going to have like, but what's going to be the maximum range? Yeah, people almost ask this question, what's going to be the maximum range about it? The maximum range is going to be u square by g. The initial velocities square divided by g is going to be maximum range. But over here we're also having that maximum, to find maximum range, we need to throw anything in 45-degree. Okay. Over here we can also take an example of javelin throw of Neeraj Chopra. How come he's getting a lot of like, the ranges of his javelin throw is more than other players? How come it's possible? Because he's trying to throw the stick at the angle of 45, instead giving it more strength. So basically he's trying to give a little physics to the thing he's doing. So just like that, we can have a maximum range if if we take the particle and throw it in an angle of 45 degrees. That's it. So here I conclude my topic. I hope you had enjoyed. Actually, I hope you had already learned something from this video. And actually, this is not yet concluded. I'm gonna have more parts on it. So stay tuned, stay connected, and subscribe this channel so you're gonna get more videos on it and get your studies done right now. It's high time, guys. It's Star Trek. See you in later week. Bye bye.